Cultural heritage is the valuable property of a nation and its people. It is not only meaningful from a historic or artistic point of view, but fundamental in understanding one's identity. The National Research Institute of Cultural Heritage exists for the continuous discovery, research, and restoration of such heritage items to ultimately preserve them for future generations. Now today, we meet with newly appointed honorary ambassador of the Institute, Fabien Yoon, not only a French-born famous entertainer here in Korea, but an individual truly in love with Korea's history. Welcome, Fabien. Hello,
Hi.
Fabien.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great to have you on the program. So
Thanks.
first off, congratulations on being appointed as the honorary ambassador of the National Research Institute of Cultural Heritage. So how do you feel about it? I think it was just back in April. So tell us how you feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty new. So first of all, I would like to thank the director of the NRIH, so National Research Institute for Cultural Heritage, Director Im Jong-duk, for putting his trust in me, and also all the researchers, curators, and all the staff working at the Institute. Thanks for appointing me as a new ambassador of Korean cultural heritage. So yeah, I've been actually in Korea for 17 years. My first trip to Korea when I was a university student, I traveled all around the country and I visited all these different cultural heritage sites. And later on, I realized that all this was possible thanks to the hard work, the achievement of the NRIH, and everything that has been excavated, scientifically restored or preserved was thanks to the hard work of these people. So it's really an honor for me to be part of this team. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to work with them now and to promote cultural heritage and also to go on field with them.
I think it's one thing to be appointed such a role, but also another to be an honorary ambassador for this institute as a foreigner as well. That's also very significant. I mean, for the regular Koreans, they would be like, wow, how does this Frenchman know so much about Korean history and cultural heritage? So, I mean, what's your role now as an honorary ambassador, and how do you imagine your position to be like?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I was very surprised when they first contacted me because, as you mentioned, I'm a foreigner. I've been living in Korea for a long time. I'm interested in Korean culture. I speak Korean, but I'm still a foreigner. I'm still French. So I was very surprised, but also happy that they contacted me for this role. So basically, what I would do is obviously promote cultural heritage, not only in Korea, but also abroad. And also promote the work that all the researchers, curators, and people working at the Institute do. So they work very hard on the preservation of Korean cultural heritage. So as you might already know, most of the Korean buildings were traditionally built in wood, which means that it needs a lot of work on preservation and conservation. Sometimes you have cracks, especially during the monsoon season. It rains a lot, so it's you can easily have cracks. It can get rotten easily. So we need to work very hard on that. As for me, so usually when you're an honorary ambassador of something, sometimes you just take pictures. So I ask them, I want to go on the field with people. I want to be helpful in some kind of way. So my first job would be to let people know what the researchers, curators, and people working at the Institute actually do, because I realized a lot of people, not only abroad, but also in Korea, were not very familiar with the work they do and why it was very important for to preserve Korean cultural heritage and Korean history. So that would be one of my missions, and another mission would be to go on field with these researchers and curators and help them in anything I can do. So I told them I was definitely in to go on the field with them, to go on site. So during my first day, we went to Gyeongbokgung, Gyeonghaeru, so we checked. So it depends on the buildings, but usually they have certain period. They need to check each building. Sometimes it's 5 years, sometimes it's 2 years. It depends on how old the building is. And so yeah, we go there, we check, And my next mission probably would be going to Gyeongju. So I'm going in June to Gyeongju for the same mission. So you know, Gyeongju is a very rich cultural city in Korea. It used to be the capital of the Shilla Kingdom. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to go on site and yeah, be with them, witness how they work, and help them if I can.
Sounds very exciting, especially
Yeah.
also the trip to Gyeongju, because also APEC is going to be held in Gyeongju later this year.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right, some big roles as an ambassador. I want to ask you though, do you have any specific fields of interest when it comes to Korean culture heritage? Maybe some palaces or some landscapes that you want to mention?
So actually, I also do docent at the Korean Contemporary History Museum. So when talking about contemporary history, it differs regarding the countries. For some country, like they have a very short history, but Korea has a very long history, as you know, more than we usually say 5,000 years. So it's a very long history. So when it comes to contemporary history, it's usually the end of the 19th until nowadays. So I'm more focused on this part of history. But actually, since I mentioned Gyeongju before, I'm really into Gyeongju Shilla dynasty history these days. So as you know, Gyeongju was the capital of the Shilla Kingdom during the Three Kingdom dynasty. And yeah, it's full of cultural heritage. I remember my first trip to Korea. So at that time, I didn't know I would stay for more than 10 years, like almost 17 years just now. And I visited the whole country, and the thing that I think shocked me most in a positive way was the Buddha in the Sokguram. Yeah. So I think, so Shilla was very rich in culture. So as you know, it's a Buddhist kingdom. So everything was related to Buddhism, like all the temples, the houses, everything was related to Buddhism. And you can feel this harmony and spiritual mood in the city. And this Buddha was just amazing when I entered and I saw it with like the very soft light and its gaze very peaceful. And yeah, I was very impressed by that. So I took all the family that visited me in Korea to visit, all of my friends, and actually I think most of the people I take to this place, that's the thing that they remember most when after visiting Korea. So yeah, I would recommend if you guys haven't been there yet. Yeah.
I mean, no wonder in Gyeongju there are so many UNESCO intangible heritage sites as well.
The city in itself is actually
Exactly.
UNESCO heritage.
Now, Fabien, we know you as a TV personality, an actor, and probably one of the most famous foreign entertainers here in Korea. But as you said, you are also a docent or a tour guide at museums, at historical museums, as well as cultural festivals, which really requires a lot of deep knowledge of Korean history. So how did it all start? How did your interest in Korean history start?
So actually, I've been interested into Korean history for, I would say, since I started living in Korea. So I loved history actually before coming to Korea. I liked Egyptian history. So I've always been interested in foreign cultures, foreign history, and foreign languages. So when I came to Korea, of course, I wanted to know more about the country because at that time, like 15, 17 years ago, was still very unknown in Europe. So I started to read a lot of books about Korean history, and I realized that the more I knew about history, the more I could understand Korean society, Korean people. So sometimes, especially for European, it's difficult to understand Korean society because it's so different and how sometimes Korean people act. And I kind of found these answers in Korean history. So that was very interesting for me. So the more I would know, the more I would understand. And I would be, oh, okay. So yeah, it was very interesting. So the more I knew, the more I wanted to know more. And yeah, I started to read a lot of books and traveling all around the country. And since also I'm doing broadcasting work, I go with TV shows on different sites. So yeah, I decided to like know more about Korean history, and I found it very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm still learning actually, because history is very rich and it's very Korea has a very long history. So I'm still in the process of learning, but yeah, I think maybe 10 to 12 years.
Oh, we can definitely see, yes, you're an expert in Korean history. So you did pass level 1, which is the highest level of Korean history proficiency test, with a score of 96 out of 100, I believe, which is really hard for even Koreans to get that score. How did you do this, Fabien?
I studied.
Wow.
Actually, yeah, so usually when I study history, I don't like to say I study history, because mainly what I do is just reading books and go on different sites and just looking at it. So I found it way more easy to go on site and just look at it for like 10 minutes and try to understand how it was built, when, instead of just reading a book on a table or on a shelf. So yeah, I just, before taking the test, I remember I just went on a tour by myself, and I visited most of the cultural heritage sites. And yeah, after it took me I think I studied for 2 to 3 months. I was just doing like regular Korean students do. Wow. You know, they watch online classes, so I just did the same, and I bought books, and I was studying 1 to 2 hours a day, just like Korean students would do when they prepare for SAT or Suneung. And
right.
Yeah, that was basically what I did. So exactly just like regular Korean students.
Fabien, I think you're being a little humble here.
It's just like how it happened, but yeah.
It just happened.
But I guess it's more about the experience at the site for
right.
you than just history in the book. So it's a mix of both, I guess.
Because I have a very bad memory.
Really? Okay.
No way. Well, you do have the level 1, the highest level. And as an honorary ambassador of the National Research Institute of the Cultural Heritage, and just as a person who have been living in Korea for almost 20 years now, with this, which historic locations would you recommend to foreigners visiting Korea?
Well, you named Gyeongju
There's
before.
so many, yes.
Yeah. So since I mentioned Gyeongju, which is out of Seoul, I would mention one that is in Seoul, because usually foreigners, when they arrive in Korea, most of the time they arrive through Seoul. So in Seoul, actually, there's a lot of UNESCO cultural world heritage. And one of them is Changdeok-gung, so the Changdeok Palace, which is actually the only one out of the 5 palaces in Korea that is acknowledged as a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. I like this palace because it's beautiful in every season. So I like going there when it's snowing, because like Korean buildings, Korean palaces is very beautiful under the snow. I like also going there during spring. Especially the Huwon, so the secret garden. So, you know, you have actually more than 2/3 of the palace is in the secret garden. So you have a lot of different species of trees. You have very old trees, a lot of different flowers. And yeah, it's very beautiful. It's just stunning. And also what I like about that is that so you need to make reservation, which means that there is not too many people. So usually you go to, with a group of 20 to 30 people, depending periods. And yeah, you kind of feel like it's your private space, just like Korean Joseon king would feel, because only kings and the royal family would have access there. So I really like to go there. So also I recommend going there on morning, because it's way more calm, and maybe you can spot like squirrel or cats there. So yeah, that's something I would definitely recommend if someone visits Seoul.
Changdeok-gung in the morning, Changdeok-gung in spring, and in winter when it snows.
Yeah.
Well, Fabien, you'll be probably occupied with your new role as honorary ambassador of the institute we mentioned. But could you please share us your next plan or your next goal?
Actually, this year, one of my objective is to, actually I'm challenging myself to the, so in Korean we say 관광통역 안내사, which is like the certificate, official certificate to become a guide. So I won't become like a guide as my main job, but I'm actually doing like a lot of history tour. And I wanted to take this test to be more professional, I would say. And yeah, so this year I'm taking this test. So I took the first part last month, and I still have 2 or 3 months to study, and hopefully I will get this certificate, which would make me an official guide in Korea. So yeah, that's one of my main objective of this year.
Well, when
So
you
then-
do become official guide, maybe you can take us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Inspire us, yes.
as well.
I will tour you anywhere you want.
You'll be probably able to guide people in English, in Korean, and French.
Yes.
So for so many visitors coming to Korea. And we really can feel that if you go into something, you go really deep into it. So we wish you the best for your next goal as well, and also your activities as the honorary ambassador of NRICH, or the National Research Institute of Cultural Heritage. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. And merci beaucoup as well.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
And thank you, Bella. As always, we're going to see you back next time.
Yes, I'll see you back next time.